Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis call, and this is in preparation for trading on July 23rd, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here, this is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. So as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. Today we didn't have much data here. We did have Bank of Japan Governor Kuroda speaking, and he has expressed concerns about the overall global economy in his speech today. But very quiet day in terms of news. Coming up tomorrow, again, not a ton of data here. We do have existing home sales data here for the US, and with the liquidity being low here, so if we do see negative data here come out for the US dollar, it will have basically a negative reaction for the US dollar. Other than that, we have trade balance numbers for New Zealand. Right now, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar are very, very strong. Any of a trade balance number, if it comes out negative, could have a negative impact on New Zealand dollar. As well as we have PMI numbers. So these PMI numbers are important because they are leading indicators. So if we see negative PMI numbers, that will put pressure on Australian dollar here. And we have the same for Japanese yen as well. So we have heard in the last week or 2 weeks, we have heard a lot from the Fed officials. Everybody's expressed their thoughts around what should happen in terms of the interest rate. So this week, they're not allowed to say anything because now we're leading up to the FOMC statement. So some are calling for a 0.5% cut, but I think we're looking at more around the 0.25% cut. So this week there will be no Fed officials talking, so we're not likely to be influenced by that, but we are going into the FOMC next week. So leading up to that, we could see US dollar basically be impacted by that. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, not a ton in terms of our data here. Now, one thing we do have coming up tomorrow, that is in regards to the UK. So we have a prime minister that will be in place. Announcement will be made tomorrow. That is likely to cause an impact on the market. So watch out for British pound and any pound trades that you may have. They can be impacted by that. So depending on who becomes the prime minister, as well as what comments they make in their speech, that will impact the markets. So very, very important. This is something that we just have to keep in mind. So just like we saw when President Trump became president, there was a big impact on the markets. So same way here, we are likely to see an impact on the market when we see tomorrow when that announcement is made, especially with their speeches. All right, so let's go on to the charts here. As usual, we'll start off with euro dollar here. So euro has been trading in this range all week here, all last week, and for the last 2 weeks, essentially, we have been seeing price trade in this range. So today's candle close is bearish. We have a bearish pin bar, but it was a very, very small move here. One, there was really no news impacting the market. Secondly, Mondays tend to be slow as well, and we are also in the summer. So liquidity tends to be low and people are away. So all of those put together, we have small moves in the market. So right now, this is looking bearish. Now, keep in mind, we are into the bottom of the range here. So I'm looking for price to drop, basically. My bias is to the downside. This is the type of move that I'm expecting. However, if we do not see price break the support here, which is right into this 1.1200 level, if it cannot hold below this level or goes back up like this, or it doesn't even drop through that, then it can go back towards the top of the range or mid of the range here. So right now the bias is to the downside. We also have ECB coming out this week, so ECB is expected to be dovish. So overall, the bias for euro is to the downside. But again, be careful because we had a very strong candle here to the downside. Nice bearish candle, but as we can see, price could not break that level and went all the way back up. So we could have a similar thing happen here. So just keep that in mind. But next target here is 1.1150. And then beyond that, we are looking at these levels here, 1.1120. So bias is bearish for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one, we had a bit of a bearish move here. Price has kind of held this level here. It's slowly making its way down. We do see a bit of a downtrend here. The move today wasn't huge. So bias still stays to the downside here, but there's a pin in the bottom, which kind of complicates things. But we also have news coming out of UK tomorrow, which will have an impact on the British pound. So I would be careful with this one because it could go in either direction. So this one, it has bearishness in it, but it's not a solid bearish candle. It has pins on both sides, small candle body. That shows more of a neutral bias than really a bearish. So overall bias is a bearish to neutral here. Things can change with that, so keep in mind. But if it continues on its path here, I will look for it to go back down into 1.2400. The problem is that it can also do one of these, so be very careful with this. So my bias here is neutral to bearish, because overall bias still stays bearish, but now we are coming into that critical area. It's oversold, so it's not really going anywhere. Price is just stuck here for a long time. So I would say be mindful of that. Bias is neutral for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one has dropped today. On Friday, we saw a bearish candle close, and today we have a bearish candle close as well. So bias is to the downside here, looking for it to drop further into 0.6995. So let's say 0.700 level here. And that's where we'll have to see if price is able to hold above that level, then it can go back up. But for now, bias is to the downside and target is 0.6995. This one here as well, we have a bearish pin bar here. So biases to the downside. Price did go and test this 0.6790 level, but then stayed below. So looking for it to drop, looking for price to come back into this 0.6725 level here. So bearish bias for this. And then once price gets here, then if it stays above, then chances are it could go higher. So be mindful of that. But for now, bias is bearish, looking for it to drop into 0.6725 level here. So bearish bias for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, this one has gone up. So we have a big bullish candle close here. So bias is to the upside. 1.3140 will be the target here. So bullish bias. And if price goes through that level, the next target level here will be 0.3180. So bias is bullish, but because the price has been trading in this range here for quite some time, for the last few weeks, what we could see is price go into 1.3145 level, and then it could drop as well. If that happens, chances are price will come back towards the middle of the range and even towards the bottom of the range. But for now, bias is bullish. But for it to continue, this is the move I would be looking for. Price goes into the high, a pullback, and then a continuation there. So bullish bias for dollar CAD. So it looks like the market is kind of waiting for things to happen. Gold here. Gold dropped on Friday. Today it dropped a bit. Looks like we could see a further drop in here. So bias right now is bearish for gold. First target is 1414, and then a second target would be 1400. So bearish bias for gold for tomorrow. Silver here. Silver had a bullish close, but does not look too bullish. I think this one could come back down towards 16.00. So I would look for it to come towards 16.00. Now, if it does break the high here, this one could go further all the way into 16.57. So watch out for that. But for now, I think this one is likely to be range bound. I think this one could drop into the 16 level here. So I'm looking for a drop here. Oil. Oil is looking neutral, so but it has a lower high here. So this one could drop further. But for now, this one is neutral. So the daily bias is neutral. I will look for it to come back towards 54.80 level here. But if for a reason or if for some reason it breaks the high, then chances are it can fill this gap here because we've had quite a move to the downside. It could reverse that. But for now, bias is neutral. Target is 54.80. And then we have copper. Okay, so copper, we had a bearish close here. So bias is bearish, looking for price to drop further into 2.64 here. So bearish bias for copper. Bitcoin still holding below this 10,800 level. We have a bearish candle close today, so I would look for it to drop back towards the bottom of this range. So it's been stuck in this range for the last few days. So first target is 99.25. Now, if it stays above this level here, then it can go back up. So it's kind of range bound. It's trading in this big range here. And there doesn't seem to be a clear direction here. So for now, bias is bearish. 99.25 is the first target. And then we're looking at 9,000 here, 9,050. So for now, bearish bias. But like I said, this is a very important, 99.50 is a very important support level. If it stays above, then chances are very high that it could continue up. Okay, indices here, S&P 500 today was actually bullish. So it's been staying in this range for the over 2 weeks here. So bias is bullish for today. I'm looking for it to go back into 3,000 level here. And if it breaks that level, only then I'm looking at 30.20. But for now, 3,000 is the first target here. So bullish bias for S&P. If it doesn't break today's high, though, it could turn down here because we do have a bit of a move or a downtrend line here. So keep that in mind. For now, it is bullish and looking for it to go higher. Target is 3,000, then 30.20. This one also looks bullish. We have a bullish candle close. Price could not break below this support level here. So it looks bullish. I would look for it to go higher into the 79.80 level. So bullish bias for NASDAQ. DAX here. This one has moved up, but it's struggling here. It hasn't been able to break this high. So this one looks a little neutral here. So overall, we have this downtrending line, but the candle here isn't very strong. So what I would look for is a retest of high. And if it stays below that, we can see it come back down towards 12,200. but it could go and do a test of 12,220 level here. So for now, I want to say bearish to neutral for this one. All right, so here we have Footsie, hasn't really done anything. For Footsie, it will be a big day tomorrow. We could see some chaos, so be careful with that one. It has been trading in a range for several days here, and the daily candle close is neutral. There are pins on both sides, small candle body, that's a neutral candle. So in this case, bias is neutral. If it holds above the 74.80 level, then we're likely to see price go higher. However, if we see a break, then we could see a drop. So for now, neutral bias for Footsie. And Nikkei here. Nikkei has gone up, but it is right into this resistance at 21,450. If it stays below this level, then chances are it will come back towards this new range here, towards 21,000. But if it breaks this level, then I would look for price to continue into 21,700. So it's at a critical level. We do have a bullish candle close, but we are right into resistance. And if it doesn't go above 21,450, chances are it's going to drop. But if it goes to the other side, so basically the move that I'm looking for is if it breaks, then I'm looking for a pullback and a continuation. So this is the level we are watching. And if it doesn't break, then it's likely to just come back down here. So this level here at 21,450 is critical at this point. All right, so that's all I have. Any questions before we wrap it up here? Okay, no questions. Perfect. So have a wonderful evening, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.